Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Ferguson-Biahe. These are the top stories. In Mali, the UN sounds the alarm against a spike in targeted violence between communities. So far this year, some 300 Malian civilians have lost their lives. Environmentalists in Kenya warn the country's first high-speed railway poses a threat to a delicate ecosystem. This as the elevated line is built through the centre of a national park in Nairobi. And amid warming relations between Ethiopia and Eritrea, once separated families are united, but some in Ethiopia's Irob territory say they're concerned their lands could soon be returned to Eritrea. But first, the United Nations has warned against a surge in inter-communal violence in Mali, which has triggered serious human rights violations. So far in 2018, some 300 Malians have lost their lives in what the UN mission in Mali, MINUSMA, has called targeted killings between communities. Well, the increase in violence threatens presidential polls scheduled for July 29th. Over 75% of the violent incidents occurred in Mali's central Mopti region, with more than 50% taking place since May the 1st.
The modus operandi of those who have been committed these serious abuses have changed. Mostly, we have traditional hunters, which is the dozos. They are the traditional hunters. Now they are using more sophisticated arms to conduct the attacks.
Next, in a move condemned by human rights groups, a Kenyan court has sentenced a 24-year-old beauty queen to death for murdering her boyfriend. Ruth Kamande, who won a prison beauty pageant while awaiting trial, stabbed her partner Farid Mohammed to death back in 2015. The judge accused Kamande of manipulative behaviour, saying she demonstrated no remorse for the attack. Kamande says she acted in self-defence. Amnesty International has called the sentence inhumane and a blow to Kenya's progressive record of commuting death sentences to prison terms. Well, staying in Kenya, the construction of the country's first high-speed railway continues to spark controversy. The elevated railway line is being built through the centre of a national park in the capital, Nairobi. In agreeing to the project, activists say the government has essentially bypassed environmental laws, spelling chaos for the ecosystem.
Only a few miles from the airport lies a treasure of biodiversity. Nairobi's National Park. Each year, 120,000 tourists come to catch a glimpse of its zebras and giraffes. It is the only capital in the world that accommodates a natural reserve, a unique home to wildlife, which is now in danger. Since the beginning of the year, Kenya's first high-speed railway is being built by a Chinese company across the park. James Kingori lives by the new building site and saw 5 hectares of his land claimed for the future railroad.
From there, up to down, up to those trees down there, all this portion has been taken by.
Like many landowners, he is a Maasai and is used to living around animals.
They used to come to our land, maybe the zebra, the giraffe. They don't come mostly these days. Although people have been compensated around the National Park, but for animal, it is not, they will not enjoy it like before.
The new line poses a major threat to wildlife. The animals in the national park don't come near the new work site that constitutes the new border. The park's management denies the existence of a problem concerning the project, emphasizing the fundamental contradiction between the preservation of nature and the needs of the country.
That area was supposed to be for animal dispersal area and as a corridor for wildlife, but also as development activities in the country, we cannot really shy away of having development in the countries.
Godfrey Onyango is an engineer trying to prevent the construction. In vain.
All that turmoil and noise and what have you is going to make the park lose the animals and maybe reduce it to just a zoo. And this is a natural park whereby animals can walk in and walk out.
Because Nairobi's population is 30 times bigger than in the 50s, the city is now stuck between development and animal protection. There used to be tens of thousands of gnus here in the 90s. There are only a few hundred today.
Laura Di Biasio reporting for us there. Amid rapidly warming relations between Ethiopia and Eritrea, this week saw the first commercial flight from Addis Ababa to Asmara in 2 decades. When the two former foes went to war back in 1998, they deported each other's nationals en masse, separating many families. Well, this month, a reunion became possible when Ethiopia and Eritrea signed a peace deal ending a generation of hostility. Journalist Addis Salem Hajgu was separated from his wife and 2 daughters for 16 years. He was reunited with them this week.
Imagine spending 16 years in darkness. That's what happened to me. But now the darkness has been removed and I am able to see my wife. The sun shines on my children, and I have met my grandson. It's like winning the lottery without buying a ticket.
Well, while some families are reuniting, some in Ethiopia's Irob territory say they're worried their lands could soon be returned to Eritrea. Now, following the 1998 to 2000 war, an independent commission determined that certain cities of the region belonged to Eritrea. Well, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed recently agreed to respect that border demarcation, raising some key questions. More details in this report.
In Alatena, a few kilometres from the Eritrean border, people are worried. This region in northern Ethiopia is mostly inhabited by the Irob people. Since the Prime Minister's decision to respect the border decided by the UN, residents are afraid their families will be separated.
This decision will divide the population. If brothers are separated, that will be a problem. I don't think peace will come.
The signals for peace between the two countries were greeted with enthusiasm in the capital, Addis Ababa. But here in Irob territory, a rare bastion of European Catholicism, there are fears of further conflict with Eritreans.
We want peace, but we believe it shouldn't come by giving away land. It should be like before, when borders were not a source of conflict.
So far, no land has changed hands. For some Irob, peace is a sign of opportunity. By opening the roads between the two countries, trade could be revived. For others, it's a chance to find family members missing since the conflict.
Since we
heard the news, we've been glued to our television. If the two countries really make peace, maybe even my husband will come back.
Nguze's husband was arrested by Eritrea after being accused of giving food to Ethiopians during the war, and she never saw him again. Cautiously hopeful, the Irob people yearn for the days when they could freely cross between their now artificially divided valleys.
You're very much up to date. More international news right here on France 24. Do stay tuned.
In the Central African Republic, after the restoration of a legitimate government, the former Seleka rebels withdrew to the north of the country, where under the name FPRC, they now reign supreme. Our reporters gained access to the provincial capital, Ndele, which is ruled by their military commander, Abdoulaye Sen. The territory under their control is rich in natural resources, but they are not alone in wanting to exploit them. The rebels are now at the center of a geopolitical conflict. A rare inside glimpse into the workings of an emerging parallel state controlled by force of arms.
Reporters Plus, presented by Mark Owen on France 24 and France24.com.